Hi, my name is Ashley and I am married to a deer hunter. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I feel like now that it's November, it's finally seasonally appropriate to talk about this subject. I know a lot of people are just like ready to dive right into Christmas mode, but I am not quite there yet. I'm still kind of in fall mode. Thanksgiving is coming up, and if you come from a family like mine, on an equal playing field with Thanksgiving is rifle season. Actually, if I'm being honest, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that deer hunting sits right here and Thanksgiving sits right here. Thanksgiving is just one day that happens during rifle deer hunting week. So I'm going to talk about that today, and also how to handle one of the challenges that comes along with being a deer hunter's wife, and that is how to decorate with taxidermy and the antlers and all the stuff that your husband comes out of the woods with, because I've always been one to kind of write off the deer heads to places like the man cave, the basement, the garage, closet, in a box maybe, you know, whatever it may be. I kind of just always just shove them aside and assume that it's not something I would want to actually decorate my home with. But more recently, I have opened up to the idea, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but faux taxidermy is like so in right now. Deer heads, antlers, they are everywhere. You go to the store and there's just all kinds of fake deer decor pieces. So I was just kind of thinking, why not use the real thing? And my decorating style, I would kind of classify as like rustic chic. So it does happen to fit in with my decor style. So I am here today to tell you that I have a deer head right in my living room, and I actually really like it. It was my idea. It wasn't my husband like pressuring me to do it. I really wanted to put it in the living room, and I like how it turned out. So I want to share with you kind of how I made it work. And also we have another deer head and some antlers in our downstairs area, which I will show you guys that as well, and just kind of explain my rationale behind how I set up the displays and how I decorate and make the deer heads work in the house, because it can be just kind of a cool conversation piece and something that is very personal for your family, for your husband specifically, or for whoever shot the deer, your kids, or maybe you're a wife who also likes to hunt as well. So I'm just going to talk about that today. If you decide to decorate with your husband's kills, I guarantee you it's going to make him so happy. You know, that's not why I did it. It just was a bonus. So first, let's just talk about deer season for a little bit, because there are just some things that I gotta get off my chest. And if you're a deer hunter's wife, I know you can relate. I have a love-hate relationship with rifle season. My husband, he only hunts during Thanksgiving week, rifle week, rifle season. He doesn't hunt with a bow or anything like that. So for us, deer hunting happens 1 week out of the year for the most part. This year, it's not going to happen because we're not going to be home in Wisconsin. So I'm very sad about that. When we do go, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with it. It is so fun to be with the family, and I love getting to spend time with the other women in the family. I love that part of it. We have all these fun traditions that we do opening weekend. We are all in my family for the most part. The women don't really hunt. So we are mostly just hanging out with each other while the men are hunting. So we are a group of hunting widows because everybody knows that when opening morning comes around, your husband is out to the woods and you essentially do not see him all week. My husband is out in the woods before the sun comes up, and he does not come out until that sun comes down, except maybe to eat for lunch one time midday, but even not always. He is basically just in the woods. We text a little bit, but I don't hear from him. Even when he does come out of the woods, he goes straight to the hunting shack with all the other hunters, and they swap their manly stories and things like that. Even when I do see him, the very small amount of time I do see him, it's like I'm not even there, because his mind is on one thing and one thing only, and that is slaying that mighty buck. Also, he pretty much refuses to shower or brush his teeth or groom in any way that whole week for fear of throwing off his scent and repelling deer. It's 1 week out of the year, you know, it is what it is, but it is challenging for the woman if you are not hunting with your husband. So like I said, it's a love-hate relationship. Some things about it can be really frustrating, especially when you have kids and you know, you're just kind of left behind while the men are out doing their thing in the woods. But it is kind of a fun and proud and happy moment, you know, when you're hearing gunshots going off in the woods and we're all sitting there trying to figure out, okay, whose man shot that gun? Did one of our husbands get a deer? And then if it does happen to be your husband, you get to watch them, you know, come back to get the tractor and they're all excited. Oh, I got a big one. And then the time comes when they come out of the woods on that tractor with the dead deer in the bucket, and it's got a rack. Your husband's so excited, he got the buck and all that stuff. It's kind of a fun moment, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this one is worthy of taxidermy. Now, what on earth am I gonna do with this giant deer head? So I am going to help you with that today. So first I will show you our downstairs office area where I made this display using a deer head and some antlers. I used a more traditional approach here because I feel like traditionally deer heads are a very masculine decor piece, so I kind of just rolled with that and then used other very masculine decorations that we have, so mostly Aaron's Marine Corps awards and pictures and things like that. So that is one way I think you can make this work, is just accept the deer head for what it is, a very masculine sort of statement piece, and just kind of play off of that and make like some sort of gallery wall. I think it helps to balance things out if you use pictures and other items versus just putting all of the deer heads and antlers in one spot, especially if you have a lot. It can be overwhelming, at least I think so. So I liked having more pictures around it. I think it just kind of created a nice balance. And so this is what I kind of did in our basement area. So now into the living room. This is obviously a place where we spend a lot of time, so I did not want the deer head to become this like overpowering thing in the room. So I used the opposite approach from what I did in the basement. Instead of surrounding it with other masculine things, I surrounded it with more feminine pieces, like the chest with the doilies hanging out. Doilies are very feminine, and the vase with the greenery in it. It has leaves and a pumpkin in it now for fall, but year-round it just has the green stuff in there. And that was also intentional. I wanted to put the deer near things that were sort of reminiscent of its natural habitat, which sounds kind of weird, but it fits together. Deer, they live in the woods, they live in nature, and so to kind of bring that into the house to make things flow, I put the greenery next to the deer. And I also really like how the levels turned out with this, the different height levels. It's very important in decorating to take advantage of different heights and kind of stagger things. So I feel like that just kind of really flows nice in this spot. So those are the things that I did to make the deer heads and the antlers work in our house. It just took a little bit of creativity and placing them in ways that I normally wouldn't think to place them, because I'm used to seeing deer heads all lined up in like bars or man caves or bachelor pads, and it's always been this very intense decorating style. So I just kind of tried to downplay it a little while also showcasing the deer, and I think it worked out really well. I like the way it turned out, and I actually really enjoy the deer heads now. So Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe can relate to it. I want to know, if your husband hunts, do you decorate with his deer heads and things like that? And also, if you happen to be a lady hunter yourself, I want to know how you feel about the whole taxidermy thing. Do you like to decorate with deer heads and stuff like that? Maybe it's a little different if you're the one who is also hunting. So let me know it down in the comments. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and enjoyed it. And also please subscribe to my channel for more homemaking, cleaning, and decorating videos. Like I said, deer hunting season, it's a fun time, but it is also somewhat challenging. But honestly, I would not change it for the world. I love that my husband is a deer hunter. It kind of like ups his manliness factor for me, which I like. I'm all about them country boys that shoot guns. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I hope you all enjoyed this video and you have a great Thanksgiving and deer hunting week, if that is what your family does. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.